Hello YouTubers, Rogue Monkey Jr. here, and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Monday. By request, today's weapon will be the P90. This is a personal defense weapon for the engineer class. It is a bullpup weapon. That means that the magazine is fed from the back of the gun instead of like the middle bottom part, which is supposed to give the bullet more velocity actually. But in Battlefield 4, this type of model doesn't really affect the bullet velocity because they just balance out the weapons to make it fair and not blatantly overpowered. This gun has a max damage of 21 and a minimum damage of 12.5. The damage drop-off starts at 10 meters and drops all the way down to 12.5. It's minimum at 48 meters. So this is primarily a close quarter combat weapon. And you're not going to be able to be wanting to use this weapon in longer ranges because your bullets aren't really going to do that much damage, and you're going to probably have a hard time killing your enemy. The fire rate, this is where it's a strong point. It's 900 rounds per minute, so you're going to be able to burn through enemies really fast. And seeing that it has a really huge magazine of 51 shots, including the one in the chamber, you're going to be able to go through multiple enemies in close quarters without even reloading. In my actual footage, I press the reload button a lot. Just because I like to have a full magazine, and when I know I have the time, I press that button. But it's more of a habit. Like, I wouldn't really need to reload this gun as much as I actually do in the footage. It has a muzzle velocity of 460 meters per second, which is not that good. Of course, it's not really accurate to the real life weapon. And it has a muzzle velocity of 320 meters per second suppressed. So the further away your target gets, the more you're going to have to lead them. Using this weapon, you're also going to have to deal with a considerable amount of vertical recoil. It has a .32 pull up. Left to right's not too bad. It's 0.3 on both sides, and it has a first shot multiplier of 2. So that means that you're not going to really want to be tap firing this weapon. It's going to be mostly burst fire, or if you're getting in further ranges, and you're going to really want to go full auto if you're really up in the face of the enemy. I was actually using this weapon like pretty much really close range and medium. I was hip firing a lot with this weapon on really close range because it has pretty good hip fire, which most of the PDWs actually have. The reload time is where this weapon takes a little bit of a hit. It has a 2.9 second short reload, and it has a 3.55 second long reload. But seeing as you don't have to reload that often because you have 50 rounds in the mag, it kind of balances itself out. Of course, if you're in a hot spot, you're going to probably want to switch to your pistol because 2.9 seconds, you're never going to get out of that firefight alive. Now, of course, as I said earlier, this is a close quarter weapon, and unfortunately, unlike in Battlefield 3, it is the engineer class that has exclusive access to the PDWs, which is kind of unfortunate because I would love to use this gun as an assault and be helpful in the situations that it's most effective, which is close quarters, which would be like team deathmatch, domination, some conquest maps are okay, but you really need to get close to your enemy because that long range this gun isn't really going to get you all that many kills. The maps that I would play conquest on would be like Zavad, which is like half indoor, half outdoor, so you can like kind of manage with this gun. But I would just use a carbine if I was playing as an engineer on conquest because it's just much better and much more adaptable than this particular weapon. The way you unlock the P90 is by completing the campaign and completing an achievement. Spoiler alert, you have to choose who you kill at the end of the game, either Irish or Hannah, and you have to choose Irish to be able to unlock the P90. And if you do the campaign 3 times and you make all 3 choices, you get all 3 of the weapons that you can unlock through single player. I'm using this gun stock. I was doing pretty good with it. I mean, using this gun in close quarters, you're going to be able to burn through enemies without reloading, and you can just hip fire because it's really accurate. But as always, the worst part of the weapon using it stock is the iron sights, obviously, because they're rendered so oddly in Battlefield 4. You can do alright with it, but it's always going to be better using a red dot sight or any other basic scope is better than like the iron sights, really. Now the field upgrade I should have ran would have been offensive, have more magazines and not run out of ammo as fast, but I always use mechanic field upgrade when I'm playing engineer usually, so I kind of forgot to change it, but that's what I would be using seeing as I'm playing in close quarter combat oriented game modes like team deathmatch and domination. Of course I would have been a lot more effective because I would have had more clips to actually go on longer kill streaks and not have to switch my pistol. The pistol I was using was the SW40 just to like sometimes get the longer range shots. Moving on to the gun attachments of the P90. Seeing as it is a close quarter weapon, I just threw on my favorite red dot sight, which is a Coyote. For the accessory, I would just put a green laser on. Depends how you like to play. This is just my favorite laser sight. I don't really use a flashlight, and I don't see the point in canted iron sights. So a green laser. And for the barrel, I don't put any barrel because it has enough recoil as it is. You could try to compensate for it by using like the compensator, but I just rather leave it stock. I feel it performs better this way. Sometimes I do throw a suppressor on it if I want to be really sneaky. Moving on to some Conquest gameplay in Operation Locker, which is obviously some close quarter combat. I'm using this weapon fully attached with all of my favorite stuff on it. I was playing with a couple of friends, and I was actually doing pretty good with P90. You can really surprise your enemies because of its high rate of fire, and really, like I said, go through a fuckload of enemies because it has a lot of bullets in its magazine. Granted, playing engineer is not the most useful thing in Operation Locker. It is pretty fun to be able to use these close quarter weapons in a close quarter situation. This is one of the reasons why I would love the PDW to be the universal weapon in Battlefield 4 instead of the DMRs like it was in Battlefield 3. Only the recons had access to the DMRs, and all the classes had access to the PDWs and the carbines, which made much more sense because you want to use the PDWs in close quarter situations, but you also want to be helpful to your team, i.e. being a medic or a support. I feel like playing engineer in these close quarter situation matches isn't helpful. You can't give ammo, you can't give health, you're pretty much just being selfish and trying to be a kill whore. Of course, you can't heal yourself either, so that's kind of a disadvantage. But I don't see the point in playing engineer. Like, I do it just because I'm making videos. Sometimes people bitch at me because I'm playing engineer. I know I bitch at people most of the time when they're playing engineer, and we're like losing by a lot. Fortunately, on this map, we were actually winning, and I was playing with buddies too, so it really helps when you have a squad of players that really can work together, and each player plays as a different class, and everybody's helping each other out, compared as if you play in a pub server and just with random people. I would do the same. Most people just do whatever they want and try to go for the most kills. That's about it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys like to run the P90. Also tell me which gun you'd like to see featured in the next episode of Bare Bones Monday. You can also send me a Facebook and or Twitter message. I also stream a couple of nights a week, so check that out too. I have a lot of fun. I'm playing with a bunch of friends and we're having a blast. Like, subscribe, share, that always helps me out. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, have a good one and take it easy.